Well, I tell you what, it certainly wasn't the outcome that we had hoped for. It was a little disappointing, a lot disappointing to tell you the truth. Uh, Hats off to an Appalachian State team that's a pretty good football team. I mean, as you can see, it wasn't a great job defensively for us, nor offensively, to tell you the truth, at all. We got a 239-yard rusher against us. Good Lord! I mean, that's pretty discouraging considering the type of rush defense that we've played here in the last few games. But I thought there was some times out there. There were some long heads and some. I don't know. We just needed a little bit more competitive spirit out there that we didn't have, and it certainly was evident there in the second half. You think coming out 10-7 ball game there in the second half, there'd have been a lot to play for. I mean, 30 minutes for a championship or a potential to play for a championship, and for some reason it was a flat locker room, to tell you the truth. And I won't say a flat locker room, but there was some position groups that looked to be in a faraway place. So, that's our job of coaches to get in there and make sure that doesn't happen. But it wasn't the case today, and like I said, you come out and you get your butt beat 31-10.
Coach, you speak about the lack of the competitive spirit. Do you think that was a result of your team knowing that they're bowl eligible?
It has nothing to do with it, nothing whatsoever. No.
Coach, you said you felt like some position groups were out of it at halftime.
Yeah.
What do you think you all can do this week to make sure the team has a good morale heading into the game?
Well, I mean, certainly there's a lot to play for. I mean, we've got an Idaho contest coming, team coming in here, and you never know what happens in this conference. I mean, you can go out, you look at the teams that have been beat, South Alabama. I mean, they take out two of the heavyweights. So you have no idea really what's going to happen. So we've got a chance to go do some things that we haven't done around here, and finishing off hopefully with a great game plan and a great effort next week versus Idaho.
Coach, given the number of rushes you have thought Appalachian State would have held the ball a lot longer, but it's only 3-minute difference in the time of possession. It just looked like every time you got a little bit of momentum, something just shut it down, a penalty or
Yeah.
something.
Uncharacteristic stuff. So, I mean, we get there and it's a 2-possession game there in the fourth quarter. We get a 30-yard two personal foul penalty, 30 yards on a guy that probably has never gotten a personal foul in his life. I mean, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't fault the officials for calling it because he certainly apparently it was a late hit and he said something right after it, but and then we don't get anything out of it. So that stuff really, just crushed us. I mean, a 2-possession ball game in the fourth quarter. You're fixing to go maybe put points on the board. Can't do that.
Shawn, speak to just the whole thing of going up against your alma mater for the first time, the place that you spent so many years. And what did that mean to you?
Well, it didn't mean so much going up against Appalachian State, to tell you the truth. I'm here at Georgia State now. It's the friends that I have on that staff that's so important. The relationships that I've built at Appalachian. My roommate was Mark Ivey, one of my best friends, and defensive line coach Scott Satterfield, Sean Clark, Dale Jones. Mike Sariano, their athletic trainer, is from South Carolina. So it's just the relationships going up against was a little bit odd, but it's I went out there and took the field with every intention of kicking their tails.
Cherdo didn't look like the Cherdo at the start of the season this game. Does he still work his way back into game shape, being ready?
You noticed it too, huh? Okay. Yeah, it's not hard to notice. Some of the whole position group, looked like they were flat. It really was. Whether it was him or, Terry Thomas, it didn't matter. It was just a nonchalant look in their eyes, and I can't put my finger on it right now, but I'm gonna search it out and figure out what it was.
We were wondering, linebackers were catching a lot of guard play. Happel didn't seem to be stopping or anything right there, occupying anybody. So
Well, when your backside tackle can scoop your inside 4-eye right there, technique, and them guards can climb to your backers, it makes it difficult.
Shawn, you watched obviously a lot of film during the week and had seen what Jalen Moore had done up until this point in the season. What was he doing today that was so much better?
He's running through wide open holes. I mean, nothing that he did was out of the ordinary. It was their offensive line was coming off the ball, backside cutoffs, and climbing to our second level defenders. I mean, Jalen's a heck of a running back, and we're certainly understanding of that, and we knew that. But their O line made some nice holes in there.
Coach, speaking of running backs, Trey Barnett, he seems to be one of those guys that can really turn it on for you in the backfield. He had 8 yards per carry, carried the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see more of him coming out of that?
Well, I mean, you probably won't have any other choice because I don't think we have another running back. I mean, Kyle Neal goes down at the beginning of the game. I mean, so many injuries are taking place at that position. So, yeah, Trey stepped in there and did a good job. He did a real good job. So you'll probably see him a lot more.
Coach, you all only gave up 107 yards through the air, and you all got 2 interceptions. How do you think the pass defense played this week and will play?
Well, I mean, we were very fortunate to get the turnovers in the secondary on those 2 passes. They didn't have to throw the ball a lot. When you're running the football as effective as they were, you'd be almost foolish to just put it in the air like they did. But it was just okay. I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of evidence out there considering how many times they ran the football.
Coach, do you have an update on Jamal and Lucas? They seem to get dinged up almost on back-to-back plays, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal's been battling an injury here for the last couple of weeks. I mean, he didn't play the last game, so it's just another setback in that scenario. Lucas, I think, had an ankle injury. I mean, when you 2 starting offensive linemen go out, it makes for a little bit more, and then Ari Wertz goes out, and he actually came back in and played a little bit later. But yeah, we're battling a few injuries right now, but it shouldn't affect our play like it did.
And then what was your initial message when you went to the locker room a while ago to the guys to keep them motivated?
Just then?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, I want them to hurt. I mean, this is let me tell you, however you see it, I mean, this was a big ball game. I mean, it really was. It was a big ball game for us, probably, one of the bigger ones in this school's history, in our school's history. I want them to hurt. I want them to hurt, and I want them to understand why we lost and how we lost and what separates our football program from Appalachian's football program. And you may sit here and look at these stats and see the 31-10 score and see like there's a big gap between the two, but there's not. It's very, very minimal, very, very minimal. And some of our foolish penalties, some of our foolish play, and not having that competitive edge right there coming out in the second half was very evident. They did, and they took advantage of it. I told them there's a lot to play for. I mean, we going to end this thing next week against Idaho, for a potential 7th win, and then carry that thing over into a bowl game, and potential of getting a win there. So we've got a lot to play for. There's a lot of positive things that are happening with this football program. We certainly don't, wake up every day and think every day is going to be perfect. There's a lot of lessons to be learned. This is how football programs are built. You just don't wake up and everything's successful. Everything works. You have to learn from the tough lessons. You have to learn from the losses. You have to learn from some of those things that hurt. And along those ways, listen, I want it to hurt, because then you understand how to handle those situations. You understand how to move forward, and you understand how to build a football program. And you begin to get those calluses, and you can recover from some of those situations like we had today.
Coach, usually for a football team, it's hard to get wins on the road, but you guys have, surprisingly been able to do that, take care of business on the road. What do you guys need to do, though, in order to start winning more games at home, and in particular next week against Idaho?
Outscoring our opponent. It's a great question, but it's ultimately the bottom line. Yeah.
Ball like that, you're able to just reach out and make at the time, game-breaking turnover to try to get you guys back in it.
I had perfect coverage. I dropped back. I honestly didn't think he was going to throw it. Then I just like, make sure you catch the ball, secure the ball, tuck it away.
What do you think
I just say we just came out flat the second half. We just came out flat. That's all I can say about that. We tried to get it going on the sideline, but we just couldn't turn the edge for us.
I know you played in secondary, but I guess what was the big issue for you guys as far as containing running back Jalen Moore?
I mean, everybody playing defense, you got 11 people. Everybody just had to do their job. We had a couple misfit here and there, and he just took advantage of it, made good cutbacks. He just did a good job cutting the ball back on us.
What were you seeing out there that Appalachian State was throwing at you?
They're very defensively. They're pretty similar to what we do. They do a little bit different in the secondary, but they were doing a lot of drop 8, kind of some 2-man on some third downs. But I mean, just credit to them. They're a tremendous football team. You know, offense, their whole program. They set the tone for this Sun Belt Conference, and we had some opportunities. We kind of hurt ourselves with some turnovers and penalties. But I mean, again, just credit to them.
Do you feel like the injuries to the running back core that tend to get dinged up a little bit, and a handful of your offensive linemen today really attributed to the performance?
Yeah, I mean, we have the next man up mentality, but some key guys were hurt. I know 25 wasn't able to go, and then we have some banged up linemen, so just got to get healthy for next week.
On the interception, it looked like the ball sailed as the defender came into your chest. Is that what happened on that throw?
Just a bad ball. I mean, couldn't step into it and sailed it, yeah.
Connor, as a quarterback, you had some costly turnovers. How do you shake that off, and make sure that you bounce back in this last home game against Idaho?
Yeah, I mean, we're still sitting here in November and playing for something. That's one thing that, at this program we haven't been able to do a lot. So, we got to move on from this, and we got to go out there next week, get a win at home, especially for these seniors, because, we're setting the tone for this new program. It'll be the change atmosphere, but we just got to go out there Monday and attack practice.
Coach and Antrell said that the team came out flat during the second half, and some position groups were just flat the whole day. How would you describe the week preparing up to the game today?
I mean, I thought we had a really good week, and for the most part, we stalled out a little bit on some drives in the first half, but I thought we controlled the game, I guess, for the most part in the first half. But for some reason, we just weren't ready to come out of that locker room. They had a quick touchdown and then the turnover. It was tough to recover after that.
What is it that you wanted to do offensively that probably just didn't come through in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, they were. Granted, they're a good football team. We had some things that we were trying to do, but it was tough with some injuries and some guys being limited. And they did a good job game planning for us. They took away some of our, base routes, and they did a good job keeping me in the pocket for the most part, and making plays, making tackles.
Was it hard transitioning in the center with them, Paxton with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. That's Pax, that center. He's been, that's kind of been our core group for the most part of the season. But I mean, Gabe steps up. He's played center his whole life, so that transition, it's easy. It's just some of the other spots, I guess, haven't got as much playing time.